Hello everyone, Preston here with another video on my channel, Pralex Art, and today we are going to be doing a update finally on my Digimon art pack situation. I don't know, I know I promised this back when I made my WarGreymon piece and way back when of what's going on, but I finally got to the opportunity to work on another illustration for Digimon, or with the Digimon fan art. Now, this one was trying to copy the aesthetic of the last WarGreymon piece, which I'll have in the links on my channel at the end of this video to show you guys the differences and the ways that I've improved with my art, because this one took, I think, about a third of the entire time that the last one took. And the last one I was studying, trying to make sure I understood how to do a style, color theory. I was doing a lot in between. And this one, I just knew what to do. And it was very fun to work on this piece, and I enjoyed it a lot. It got me back into doing a lot more line art, got me back into doing more colorful backgrounds. This one was super fun to do. Unfortunately, in my opinion, I didn't put a lot of effort into the helmet details as I would like to, compared to the WarGreymon piece that I did last year. And this one doesn't have as much of the monstrous vibe that I would like, in my opinion, but I think this one is more of like I am a big bad wolf type deal, and that vibe definitely shone through with this, and I am excited to see maybe if I'll do another one in the future and see what would happen. Now, this piece will be one of those that I'm going to work on trying to figure some things out on how I'm going to get those out there for you guys to enjoy. And I think that there's going to be a lot of interested situations where I might be selling these as playmats. I am right now researching different ways and locations on how to do said sales, or said making them into playmats for the art, and trying to get that taken care of. And I will make a post about it, a video about it when that happens, but right now it is a struggle. Now, you see me working on these details for the MetalGarurumon piece here. And yes, it is MetalGarurumon, and I really enjoy this, especially since Garurumon and Agumon were kind of the main Digimon in the Digimon show for the longest time. And even with the 2020 remake, they are still a huge part of it with, their new forms and everything. I just wanted to give some nostalgia to those that grew up with the Digimon show of what might be going on with Digimon now, or how to give that aesthetic. And again, when I made the WarGreymon piece, I wanted it to be like, hey, what if WarGreymon showed up instead of Greymon during that first movie encounter, and what would happen with that? And I threw that together, and that's why I made that illustration, gave it the same vibe. This time, it's not the same vibe, but it is in the same encounter. I kind of just made it look like MetalGarurumon and WarGreymon are fighting, so when you get to the end, you can possibly see the two images side by side and try to see how they could encounter each other in a fight. Maybe I'll make a third illustration to match this, to have this like a trilogy thing where they are fighting something in the middle, something stronger, something bigger, and just one of the random villain Digimon that are out there, and see how that works. But right now, this was kind of the way that I did it for this one. So we're towards the part where I am working on Matt as an illustration and drawing, trying to figure out the ways that I'm working on. Now, this past year, I focused heavily again on trying to work on my studies as an illustrator when it came to the fundamentals, specifically anatomy, because that's been one key aspect that I've been lacking, or I haven't been as good as I wanted to be. So I've been getting a lot of books, studying, and I feel like out of this, I may have done Matt justice, I hope. And that's kind of the situation with it, is I've been trying really hard to improve my anatomy drawings and get reference and poses, and even taking references with myself to make sure that I am as accurate as I can be when it comes to these illustrations that I want to work on. but these situations can be a little tricky when it comes to the anatomy side, and I think I've been able to speed up the process that I usually take when it comes to drawing anatomy, and by doing that, I was doing several hours every night figure drawing and gesture drawing and trying to make sure that I'm getting everything good with using line of action and trying to get that point across. Now, we are in the stage of coloring. This is the coloring spot that I felt was the strongest part of my War Greymon piece, so I was trying really, really, really hard to try and get the same vibe that I wanted from the War Greymon piece that I did a year ago. And with this past year being so busy and unable to expound or grow upon the illustrative nature that I used in that War Greymon piece, it was really hard to jump right back into it. Usually I had months of using other illustrations as tests and trying to use it again and again and trying to push those things that I've learned from those, but this past year has been quite crazy and I wasn't able to do as much as I would have liked when it came to designing this. But I was able to, again, pull up my old Photoshop files, try to see what I did again and try to understand that. And using this, I may have actually been able to break what I did last time into this one a lot easier than I did last time, and that's what probably sped up the time that it took me from the War Greymon piece to this one. Because if I remember correctly, I spent 30 hours on the War Greymon piece trying to figure out the way I wanted to paint it, trying to figure out the way I wanted it to look, trying to do all that, like I said earlier. And this is just kind of that aspect reiterated and using these different brushes that I accumulated over the past few years, and finally using all the tools that I have to my disposal with the different brushes, with the different rendering styles that I have grown up with the stuff that I learned in college, finally being able to accumulate that. I used a building brush that I used in the last illustration with War Greymon and trying to push those aspects and not trying to render everything by hand with, either a round brush or a square brush or even Dave Greco's brushes. And not to say it's not a bad thing that you can't do that. It just was so much more time consuming when you do it that way that it's a struggle to even keep up with the illustrative process and focus more on the colors and the low lights, the highlights, the shadows, the darkest darks and the lightest lights, all of that, just focusing on all of it. And this is kind of showing the ways that you don't cheat your aspects of the illustration, you work on trying to push things into the next level and doing so without skipping out on aspects that may be beneficial for you in other ways. But with all that, with this new illustration, it's about there to be done. I do enjoy making these illustrations a lot, especially since they are fan art. I want to make stuff more for myself and my portfolio as a visual development artist, whether it is for video games or other aspects. And maybe I can make up my own Digimon or Yu-Gi-Oh card in the future and be like, hey, look, I made this, and we'll see how that goes in the future. But again, thank you so much for watching this video. Here is the final art piece of this piece, and I hope you guys all enjoyed this, and if you want to, please like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment about what you thought about this piece, or even who your favorite Digimon is, and I would love to see those in the future, and let me know if you want to see more of these types of illustrations in the future as well. Thank you, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye!